Welcome back to my channel. So if you're new, please click on like, subscribe, turn on your post notification so you will be notified if I'm posting a new video. In today's discussion, we're going to discuss our irregular verbs and I'm going to give you the concept of indirect object pronouns in Spanish. Okay. So before we go with our irregular verbs, let's start off discussing our indirect object pronouns in Spanish. So you might probably have heard, if you're learning the language, you might have probably heard somebody talking, me gusta manzanas. Okay. But how does it work? Because you would understand it in English that I like apples. Let's discuss the verb gustar. Gustar is, it doesn't mean I like in English. So gustar is actually to please. So why are we using it to say me gusta manzanas? Okay. This is where the concept of indirect object pronouns comes in. So in this discussion, gustar is a regular AR verb. So you're going to conjugate it as it is. You can conjugate it gusto, gustas, and the regular AR verb. Now, for this discussion of indirect object pronouns, we won't be needing the 1, 2 up. So what we're going to be needing is gusta and gustan for our discussion of the indirect object pronouns. So before I discuss indirect, before we go to the topic today, I'm going to give you vocabularies, food vocabularies that we have for the Spanish language. So food in general is la comida. So that's la comida. Okay. Breakfast is el desayuno. Lunch is el almuerzo. Dinner is la cena. So see, concept of gender is coming in as well for these foods that we're going to discuss. Since we discuss gender, you should use it as well in our future discussions. So let's go to more specific food. What if you want meat? Meat in general is la carne. What if you say beef? El bistec. Fish is el pescado. Our very common chicken, el pollo. Let's go to vegetables. Vegetables is los vegetales. So specific vegetables would be, potatoes will be las papas. Peas would be los guisantes. Beans would be los frijoles. Lettuce would be la lechuga. Carrots would be las zanahorias. Let's go to fruits. So fruits in general is las frutas. Let's start off with las manzanas is apples. Las naranjas is oranges. Los platanos is bananas. We have rice. Rice is el arroz. Egg is el huevo. These are some food vocabularies that we have before we start learning our indirect object pronouns. Before I give you our indirect object pronouns, in English, you would say, I like beef. Now, you are doing the action. That's why you like beef. But in Spanish, it's the other way around. So it's kind of backwards. So what you're actually saying is beef pleases me. Okay. So this is how you say you like things in Spanish will be gusta. And here comes our indirect object pronouns, which I'm gonna give you so that you would picture what is going on. So of course we have here our lines. So in this yo form, it's me. This is te. This is le. Then we have nos, os. You're gonna use os for Spain only. So, it's still there, but if you want to learn, because other people would want to learn the Spanish of Spain. So, we're gonna put os, and of course, here it is les. So, you say, I like beef. But how you say it in Spanish is, me gusta el bistec. Okay. Now, how does indirect pronoun works? Let's go to the gusta and gustan first. Now, if you notice, this is third person. So, on a third person, you would also say he, she, and then the word it. So, since in Spanish, it's backwards that we're using, like in Spanish, the beef is doing the action. So it's an it. It may be an object that can do the action. So it's like your noun. So this is also it. Use the word it. So if it's singular, you're gonna use the word it. And then for plural, which is they. So this is also they. So let's write the word gusta. Okay. So where does this indirect object pronouns position? It should be before your verb. So this would be me gusta. So, me gusta bistec. So, I like beef. Okay. If it's plural, for example, you would say, he likes vegetables. You would say, le gustan. Because vegetables are plural. Okay. So, that's how indirect pronouns works. It may be confusing because, some of us learn differently. So, if you want to learn it like me, tele, nos, os, les, it's fine. You can memorize this and then put gusta and gustan. If it's plural, then put gustan. If it's singular, then gusta. But later on, if you want to learn the language more, you would want to know it this way and know the reason why gustar, to please, is important, that it works backwards. Because when you learn the language more, there are set of rules that will have, that this applies. That's why I'm presenting it now so that you would actually picture what's going on, because you can always memorize it like me gusta, te gusta, le gusta, but it's good to know why it works that way, so that later on when you're advancing on your Spanish language, you would know why. So let's give examples for this me gusta, te gusta, and of course I know it's a new it's different from English. So examples: I like apples. So me gustan manzanas. I like apples. You like apples. Te gustan las manzanas. Le gustan manzanas. So if it's singular, we use gusta. So I like chicken. Me gusta pollo. I like chicken. You like chicken. Te gusta pollo. Le gusta pollo. Nos gusta pollo. os gusta pollo, les gusta pollo. Okay. I hope this doesn't confuse you, that it works backwards when you do it in English and then translate it in Spanish. That's why I don't suggest this is why I don't suggest direct translation, because of these rules that we have in Spanish. That sometimes it works backwards and it's different from English. So it's fine to Google, when you go on the website, of course, and you wanna see the meaning of words, you can. But if you don't know these rules, because what the website does, it directly translates whatever word you put there. So when you say, what the website does, it translates each word that you put on your search engine. So that's why what I suggest, if you're trying to learn the language, is you can search, each word if you don't know the meaning of chicken, so that pollo will come out. But if you're gonna put sentences in your, directly translate each word that you put on your search engine. So I said I don't suggest to do it. What I suggest is you should know the rules that we have in Spanish, in the language, so that you don't get confused on why, when you put it in Google, it has a different meaning on how you should say it. So I hope this doesn't confuse you. Our indirect object pronouns: me, te, le, nos, os, les. Now for today's episode, we're gonna discuss a lot of our irregular verbs. We're starting off with the verb ver, which is to see. So this is an irregular verb because the yo form is different, and then the rest will be conjugated like an er verb. So let's see the conjugations of the verb ver. So starting off with the yo, it's veo, ves, ve, vemos, veis, ven. So we can now say yo veo, tú ves, él ve, ella ve, usted ve, nosotros vemos, vosotros veis, ellos ven, ellas ven, ustedes ven. So that's gonna be I see, you see, he sees, she sees, you see in a respectful way. Then we see, you see plural form, and then they see, all male or combination of male and female. They see, all female, and of course you see plural form in a respectful way. So let's now give examples to master our verb ver. Let's give examples for the verb ver. So, veo las letras. I see the letters. Then, tú ves las letras. You see the letters. Él ve las letras. He sees the letters. Then, you can conjugate the rest for practice. Now, you can also negate it. What about if you don't see anything? You can say, no veo nada, which I don't see anything. And then, to negate it, what if you don't see the letter? No veo las letras, so I don't see the letters. You can also, of course, ask questions. ¿Quién ves? Which means, what do you see? And then you can answer, veo los árboles. I see the trees. You can answer, veo los árboles y I see the trees and the river. So these are some of the examples of the verb ver. Let's move on to our next verb, which is the verb dar, which means to give. Okay. Now, this is also an irregular verb because the yo form is different. And then after that, it's like a regular AR verb. So, let's see the conjugations. So, this is doy, yo doy. This is das, da, damos, dais, dan. So, you can now say, yo doy, tú das, ella da, él da, usted da, nosotros damos, vosotros dais, ellos dan, ellas dan, ustedes dan. Okay. So let's go back. That's I give, you give, he gives, she gives, you give in a respectful way, and then we give, you give plural form. We have they give, all feminine, which is ellas, and then of course ellos, it's either masculine or combination of masculine and feminine, and of course ustedes dan. This is the conjugation of the verb dar. Now you can use dar to give intangible things, tangible things, and even opinions. So let's go to some of the examples to master the verb dar. First off, yo dar un regalo con mi hermano en el día de cumpleaños. What does this mean? So this means I give a gift to my brother on his birthday. Tú das un regalo con mi hermano en el día de cumpleaños. So you give a gift to my brother on his birthday. Now you can do the rest for practice. Next, la maestra da tarea, which means that the teacher gives an assignment. Next off, we have tú das buenos consejos. So you give good advice. So see, it's intangible. You can use the verb dar for tangible, which is to give, and use for you can use it for intangible things as well, like advices. Tú das buenos consejos. So you give good advice. Next off, we have Tatiana da su opinión sobre el tema, which means Tatiana gave her opinion on the topic. So see, you can use it for tangible, intangible, and even opinion, the verb dar. Okay, so you can conjugate the rest for practice on the sentences that I've given you. Another one, nosotros damos alegría a las personas tristes, which means we cheer up sad people. So these are some of the uses of the verb dar. You can conjugate the rest for practice. So again, it's used for tangible. It's used to give tangible, intangible, and even opinion. So this is it for the verb dar. The next verb we're going to discuss today is the verb hacer. So this is hacer. And this means to make or do. To make or to do. Okay. So let's conjugate the verb hacer. So the conjugation of the verb hacer is hago. Oh yeah, before we move on, remember in Spanish, it's always silent H. So we spell it, but we don't pronounce it. So it's hacer, and then hago. Then we have haces, hace, hacemos, hacéis, hacen. Okay, so this is the conjugation of the verb hacer. So this is I make, you make, she makes, he makes, you make in a respectful way. So we can now say, yo hago, tú haces, él hace, ella hace, usted hace, nosotros hacemos, vosotros hacéis, ellos hacen, ellas hacen, ustedes hacen. So that's I make, you make, he makes, she makes, you make in a respectful way, and then we make, you make plural form, and then they make all male, and then combination of male, female, and then they make plural form, and then you make plural form in a respectful way. Okay, so let's see the uses of the verb hacer. The number one use of the verb hacer is the weather. So we have hace calor, which is it's hot. Hace frío, it's cold. Hace fresco, it's cool. Hace viento, it's windy. Hace sol, it's sunny. Hace buen tiempo, it's a good day. It's a good day, or it's a nice day. We have hace mal tiempo, the weather is bad. We also have the expression hace buen día hoy, it's a nice day today. So that's the number one use of the verb hacer, which is weather. Let me give you sentences using the verb hacer, and of course you can conjugate the rest for practice. We have yo hago la tarea todos los días. This means I make my homework every day. Next, we have él hago la cama todos los días. He makes the bed every day. Tú hace el proyecto. You are doing the project. Hace 15 minutos. It has been 15 minutes. Hace 30 minutos. It has been 30 minutes. Hace una hora. It has been an hour. Hacen su trabajo. They're doing their work. We can also ask questions. We have ¿qué hace? Which means what are you doing? We also have the expression ¿qué hace usted en mi lugar? What are you going to do when you're in my position? We can also say hacer ejercicios, to do exercise. Hacen los quehaceras, which means to do the chores. I'm going to give you expressions that are used with the verb hacer. We hace falta, which is it's necessary or it's important. Me hace gracia, it makes me laugh. Me hace falta, it is missing to me. ¿Qué hace falta hoy? What do I need today? No hace falta tu consejo, I do not need your advice. No me hace mi caso, he is not paying attention. So these are some of the uses of the verb hacer, which is to make or do. So with all the sentences that I've given, you can conjugate the rest for practice for the verb hacer, for you to be able to master it. And then this is it for the verb hacer. So next on our topic is the verb salir. So this is salir. This means to leave or to go out. Okay, so these are conjugations of the verb salir in the present tense. So first off, on the yo form is salgo. We have sales, sale, salimos, salis, salen. Okay, so these are the conjugations of the verb salir. So you can now say, yo salgo I live. Tú sales, you live. Él sale, he lives. Ella sale, she lives. Usted sale, you live in a respectful way. Nosotros salimos, we live. Vosotros salís, you live plural form. Ellos salen, they live all male or combination of male and female. Then ellas salen, they live all females. Ustedes salen, you live plural form in a respectful way. Okay, so these are the conjugations of the verb salir. So let's now go to some of the examples of the verb salir. So first we have, yo salgo con mi amigo. I live with my friend. Yo salgo con el maestro. I live with the teacher. Nosotros salimos con los niños. We go out with the boys. Ellos salen al teatro. They go out to the theater. Ella sale de iglesia. She goes out of the church. Tú sales con Tatiana. You are going out with Tatiana. Another example, mi avión sale a las 9 de la mañana con destino a Palawan. My plane leaves at 9 in the morning with the destination of Palawan. Remember the verb ir? You can use the salir with the verb ir. Or if you're gonna use voy, I will. Voy a salir a comprar leche. So I am going out to buy milk. We can also ask questions using the verb salir. Sample question, that will be, ¿a qué hora salen los niños? What time do the children leave? You can answer, salimos cada mañana a las 8. We go out every morning at 8. Another, ¿sales hoy or mañana? Are you leaving today or tomorrow? Salgo ahora. I'm leaving now. ¿Usted sale comprar pan esta mañana? Are you going to buy bread in the morning? The verb salir can also be used in other forms. It will mean to rise for astrological bodies. For example, el sol sale hoy a las 6:30. So this means that the sun rises today at 6:30. Here are some phrases that will be used for the verb salir. Salir con, which means to go out with. I set an example earlier. Salgo con mi amigo. I live with my friend. Salir de, to come from. Example, la leche es un alimento que sale de las vacas. So this means that milk is a food that comes from cow. Salir caro, to be expensive. Example, sale muy caro deportar indocumentados, which means it is expensive to deport undocumented people. So these are the uses of the verb salir. So this is it for the verb salir. It means to leave or to go out. The next verb we're going to discuss is the verb poner. Poner means to put. Okay, so these are the conjugations of the verb poner. So this is pongo, pones, pone, ponemos, ponéis, ponen. Okay, so you can now say, yo pongo, I put, tú pones, you put, él pone, he puts, ella pone, she puts, usted pone, you put in a respectful way, We have nosotros ponemos. We put. Vosotros ponéis. You put plural form. You have ellos ponen. They put male or combination of male and female. We have they put all female, and then of course that's ellas ponen. We have ustedes ponen, which is you put plural form respectfully. Okay, so these are the conjugations of the verb poner. Let's now go to the uses of the verb poner. Number 1 is to put something somewhere. Example, we have siempre pongo la llave encima de la mesa. So in English, that will be, I always put the keys on top of the table. The number 2 use of the verb poner is to contribute or to invest. Example, si ponemos $10,000 cada uno, compramos la casa ya. This means that if we all put $10,000 each, we will buy the house now. The number 3 use of the verb poner is to show or to display. Example, siempre ponen tantos comerciales en la tele. This means they always show a lot of commercials on TV. The number 4 use of the verb poner is to set up. Example, hija, tiene que poner la mesa para la cena, which means, daughter, you have to set up the table for dinner. Okay, so these are the uses of the verb poner, which is to put. So this is it for our verb poner. Again, our conjugations are pongo, pones, pone, ponemos, ponéis, pone. So this is it for the verb poner. On our discussion today, we're going to include numbers. So you probably have heard it, uno, dos, tres on songs. Because it's good to memorize it, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. But, it's good to know them individually so that you can read any numbers. Even if it's big numbers like 287,900. You can do it once you have the basic knowledge on how to do numbers in Spanish. So let's start off with 0. So 0 in Spanish is cero. So notice it's the letter C, not Z. So it's cero. Of course, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Now, when it comes to the 16 and up to 19, you'll have a pattern for that, so it's easy to memorize. So it's actually from 10 and then E, so you're gonna, it's like combination of 10 and 6. So end in Spanish is the letter Y. So E, it's pronounced E. So it's like, what you do is DC. So this becomes 16, put 6, 17, 18, 19. Okay. So now that you have your 16 to 19, your 20 is 20. Now you have to memorize this as is because it's 20. Okay. Now that you have your 20, you can now read 21 to 29. So your 21 to 29, you'll just have to make a slight change on your 20. So what you do is take this E, change it to I, and then your number. So 21, 22, 23, until 29. Hasta 29. Okay. So now that you have your 21 to 29, let's go to your 30. 30 would be 30. And then of course, how you read 30 in Spanish is 30. And then this one, uno. 31 until 39. 32, 33 until 39. And then of course you have, it's the same from 30 until 99. So you just have to know the whole numbers with the zeros. So it's gonna be 40 will be 40. So it's 41, 42, 50, 60 for 60, 70 for 70, 80 for 80, 90 for 90, until 99 will be 99. Let's go to our 100. There are two ways to read your 100. It's gonna be 100. Okay, that's the first one. If it's just 100, it's 100. It's spelled C-I-E-N. 100. Okay. Now, if you're gonna include, if there is like 120, it's ciento and then 20. 120. So it's gonna be, you'll put TO if there's it's not just 100. So if it's 100, 100. Then if it's more than 100, there should be ciento. So it's 101, 102. That's how you read your 100. So let's try to read something. How do we read 125? So that's gonna be 125. 125. 125. That's 125. So now that you have your 100, let's go to your 200. So 200 is 200 because it's 2. Then 300. 400. Now 500 will have a different pronunciation. The reason why is it was adopted from the original Latin language. So 500 is quinientos. Again, that's quinientos. That's 500. So now that we have our 500, how you say 505 is quinientos y cinco. For 520, it's quinientos y veinte. So that's how you say 500. It's from its Latin roots, that's why it's quinientos. Now, 600 is the same. 600, that's 600. 700 is a rule breaker. So how you say 700 is 700. 700. So it's not 7, it's 700. Okay. 800 is 800. It's the same. Now, our 9 is also a rule breaker. So that's gonna be, instead of 9, you put 900. Okay. So that's 900. That's our 900. Now we're approaching 1,000. So 1,000 in Spanish is mil. Okay. Now, unlike in hundreds, that when you say after ciento, you have to put S. So you have to put S when you put 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. In thousands, it's gonna stay mil. So its mil is 1,000, and you say 2,000, 3,000. So you don't put S. So it's just mil. 4,000, 10,000, 12,000, 13,000. So that's 13,000. So that's how you say mil in thousand in Spanish. So mil is 1,000 and then no S's, unlike in hundreds. Okay. So after 1,000, let's go to our million. Okay, now that we have our 1,000, let's go to million. So million in Spanish is millón. So stress on the O, millón. Now, when you have more than 1 million, you're gonna put ES on it. So millones. And then, since it's a rule that, when there's 3 syllables, the stress is always at the middle, you take off your stress and you say millones. So, if it's million, it's un millón. And then if it's 2 millones, for 2 millions. Okay. So that's how you read numbers in Spanish. Let's give an example for reading numbers. 385, 432. Okay. Now it looks, big, but it's actually simple. You just have to know your basic. So it's 300, 300, 80. Forget your E, so E5. So since it's 1,000, it's mil. 385. So that's your first line. And then your comma. 400. 430 y 2. 385,432. So that's how you read numbers in Spanish. Okay, so you can now read even millions. Just don't forget your E to separate them, to separate the numbers in Spanish. So you can now read millions. And a tip for you guys, if you're gonna read years, it should be the whole number. Example, that will be 2021, 2021. Because, some people would just say 93 for year 1993. You can actually shortcut it, but the proper way to read years is to read the whole number. So, 2021, 2020, 2019. So, that's how you read your years in Spanish. So, I think this is it for our numbers in Spanish. I would also like to discuss something related to numbers, and that is time. So, how you ask what time is it in Spanish is ¿qué hora es? Okay, so that's ¿qué hora es? There are 2 ways to answer it. Es son las, and then es la. Now, let's start with the es la, because this is only used for 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. So, if it's, if somebody asks, ¿qué hora es? It's 1 p.m. Es la una. Notice that this is la because una is singular, and then last for any other time. So for 1 is es la una. If somebody asks you, ¿Qué hora es? Es la una. Now, for any other numbers, for any other time of the day, you use son las. So, for ejemplo, ¿qué hora es? Son a las 6, son a las 5, son a las 7, son a las 10. Okay, that's how you answer your time. Now, what if it's not exactly 1? It's 3:10, for example. We will have, how we read this time in Spanish is, we'll split the clock into 2. So if it's like the first 30 minutes, you just have to mention and put the Y, the E to separate it. So for example, it's 3:10 is 3:10 would be son las 3:10. So that's 3:10 in the afternoon or in the morning. It's son las 3:10. So that's how you read the first 30 minutes of your hour. Okay, let me erase this so I can discuss the next one. So we're gonna erase this. So memorize son las y es la. If it's 3:30, for example, you'll have to say 3:30 is 3:30. The reason why is medio is half in Spanish. This is actually half. So how you read like 4:30 is son las 4:30. Son las 10:30. Son las 9:30. So that's how you read your 30. Let's go to the past 30 minutes mark of your clock. So when you're approaching, the first 30 will be, you can just say the number, son a las 10:30. Perdón. You can just say son las 2:10. Now, if you're past the 30-minute mark, what you do is you say menos. Because it's minus 10. In English, you would say it's 4:45, 10 minutes to 5. That's how you say it in Spanish. You're gonna minus what's left. So example. So, how do you read the time? 7:50. Okay. So 7:50 would be son las 8 menos 10. Okay. So son las 8 menos 10. It's 7:50. So it's 10 minutes before 8. So that's how you read the 7:50 in Spanish. What about 12:50? Okay. Well, 12:50 will be read as es because of its 10 minutes before 1. Es la 1 menos 10. Now, we also have our quarter. So, quarter in Spanish is cuarto. So, you will read this 8:15. How do we read 8:15? Es son las 8:15. Now, what about 8:45? It's 15 minutes before 9, so that's gonna be Son las 9 menos cuarto. So that's 8:45. Okay. So these are the ways to read time in Spanish. I hope you got it. How to read time in Spanish. Let us also discuss the days of the week, and then later on we're gonna practice on stating dates and what days today. So let's start off with Monday. Monday is lunes. Lunes. Monday is lunes. Tuesday is martes. Martes for Tuesday. Wednesday is miércoles. Miércoles. Wednesday is miércoles. Thursday, that's jueves. Friday, that's viernes. That's V, but it's pronounced, B. So it's viernes. It's spelled V, but it's viernes. Saturday is sábado. Sábado. Oh, by the way, the sábado stress on the first letter A. So it's sábado. It's one of the rule breakers that we have for 3 syllables, that the stress is on the first syllable. It's sábado. So stress on the A. Sábado. We have Sunday is domingo. Domingo for Sunday. Now let's look at the months of the year. Starting off with January is enero. Enero for January. February is febrero. March is marzo. April is abril. May is mayo. June is junio. July is julio. August is agosto. September is septiembre. Septiembre for September. October is octubre. November is noviembre. Then December is diciembre. So these are the months of the year. Now you have to take note though that the days of the week are masculine. So when somebody asks, ¿Qué día hoy? It means they're asking what day is today. And how you answer ¿Qué día hoy? Is hoy es lunes. Hoy is today. So if today is Monday, you say hoy es lunes, hoy es martes, hoy es miércoles, the days of the week. So when they say ¿Qué día hoy? Is hoy es lunes. That's how you ask what day is today, and that's how you answer what day is today. Hoy es lunes. Now, when somebody asks, if they're specifically asking the date today, so the question will be, ¿Cuál es la fecha? Okay, so that's ¿Cuál es la fecha? Which means what day is today. Now, how we say the date today in Spanish is, we'll have a pattern. The way to say date in Spanish is you have to say the date first, and then after that, the month. So, is hoy es 8 de mayo, por ejemplo. So, day is like is. Of May. It's like off. So, if you're going to translate this in English, you are like saying, the date today is 8th of May. But in English, you would say 8 with the TH. In Spanish, no, you don't do that. So what you do is, hoy es 8 de mayo. So today is the 8th of May. So that's how you state the date today, and what day is today in Spanish. Okay, so, ¿qué día es hoy? And then, ¿cuál es la fecha? I would like to discuss something that's related to date, which is birthday. So if you're starting a conversation with a friend and you want to ask, when is the birthday? So, when is cuando? So it's cuando es tu cumpleaños. Okay, so that's cuando es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday? Años is with a guion, so that's años. When is your birthday? So, cuando es tu cumpleaños? And then you would say, my birthday is the 17th of April, for example. Mi cumpleaños es el 17 de abril. So that's how you would answer a question. So, when is her birthday? ¿Cuándo es ella cumpleaños? Because she. That's the third person. You can also conjugate this for practice. You can also conjugate this for practice. When if you're asking their birthdays, her birthday, his birthday, you can just change to el, ella, and the necessary changes that you have to make to conjugate, to ask the right question. Okay? Let's add in our discussion today the seasons of the year. So, we have, because here in the Philippines, we only have 2 seasons. It's like the wet and the dry season. But for weathers, in other countries of the world, they have 4 seasons. So let's discuss the 4 seasons. We have winter is el invierno. Again, that's el invierno. Spring would be la primavera. That would be spring. Spring is la primavera. Summer el verano. So summer is el verano. Fall is el otoño. Okay, so these are the seasons of the year. Winter is el invierno, spring is la primavera, summer is el verano, fall is el otoño. So let us give sample sentences for here in the Philippines. En Baguio, en febrero, hace frío. So, in Baguio, in February, it's cold. Another example. En La Unión, en el verano, hace calor. So, in La Unión, in summer, it's hot. Another example, en Baguio, en diciembre, hace frío. Another will be, en Baguio, en julio, hace muy mal tiempo. So that would be in Baguio. In July, the weather is bad because we have typhoons. Those are the times of the year that we have typhoons here in Baguio. So those are the examples that we have to make. Yes, hacer is to make. Are we with hacer? Okay. Let's start with the hacer. No, hacer nada. Okay. Let's do this. Salir is to move or to leave. Yes, salir. Boom. So this is it for our seasons of the year. Should I give more examples? Yes, it's done. It for our seasons of the year, I think. Should I discuss more? I don't know. I think it's done. Yeah, we're done. So this is it for our video for today. Please don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you will be notified if I'm posting a new video. See you in my next videos. Adios, amigos.